Good evening, everybody. How you all doing out there in Islander land? It's another edition of the Canadian Islander fan, and I thought I would do just a small video on the draft lottery that just passed us by. I don't think a whole lot of people were paying much attention to it because we were so far back in the odds of getting a win in that, and everybody was more consumed with the Barry Trotz firing, and I thought I wouldn't make a video for a couple days till everybody simmered down from the trade and had a chance to digest what was going on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened at the draft lottery today, but it's going to be a pretty short video. Not a whole lot to talk about, but right after I talk about the draft lottery, I just a couple more things to talk about Barry Trotz from some of the things that I've seen on media since I made my video about Barry Trotz's firing, which I would be remiss if I didn't thank some people at the start of this video who did something wonderful for me. They spread my video all over the internet, and my last video had more success by a mile than I've ever had before. And big shout out going to George from nyilestalk.com and Mark as well for helping spreading the word of the Canadian Islander Fan Podcast. And on Twitter, Matty Boy, also known as Matty Boychuk from Islander Mania, and also Chris, who's from NYL's Talk as well, for spreading around on Twitter and that. And every little bit is appreciated. Feeling a little bit of pressure now. I feel like I got to live up to something here. Got lots of new subscriptions, so looking forward to seeing you guys throughout. I love answering your comments. As you can see, everybody who basically made a comment, I believe I've replied to everybody. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. It was a very exciting day for me. So I just want to thank all those people that did all that for me, and thank you very much. So anyway, let's talk about the draft lottery here. So basically, we were sitting in 13th spot going into the draft lottery. And I was actually, I didn't have any grand illusions that we would win a lottery and move up to a third spot, which was as high as we could go, since you can only move up 10 spots now due to the new rules. So the best we could have done was get third pick. And I really didn't think we were going to get third pick. However, we had a 2% chance of getting that. But I was more interested that we had a 5.1% chance of losing a spot. So the only reason I really watched the lottery myself was to see that the Islanders wouldn't slip back. And once I seen the three teams behind us, I didn't really care when I saw the Islanders logo come up in 13th spot. So we didn't lose a spot. So I guess we'll call that a successful draft lottery. I know none of us want to be here in the draft lottery. We've all had way too many years of cheering in the draft lottery. It used to be our Stanley Cup playoffs was the draft lottery to see if we'd win. But boy, I'll tell you one thing about the draft lottery. Holy smokes. Why is it just some certain teams always win? Like New Jersey, another win in the lottery. And holy smokes, the Rangers with the luck in the lottery, and the Oilers with the luck in the lottery. It's always the same teams getting all the same luck, and it's like they're alternating getting the best picks. And the Rangers, their luck, and nobody else has luck except those four teams. It seems like unbelievable. But anyway, so once that went by, after I seen that the Islanders going to pick 13th, then I just started cheering for Western teams to win first, second, first and second picks. But that didn't happen either. And congratulations going out to Montreal Canadiens, going to get first overall pick. First time since 1980, I believe. So let's take a look, though. We've actually done pretty good in this spot around the 13th area. We drafted Wally at 11th, and we drafted Dobson at 12th, and we drafted Barzy at 15. So it's almost like our organization has had better success with this area of the draft than we have in the 1 to 5 range. So who knows, maybe we'll get somebody good here. I'm going to bring up something here, show you just a little bit what we can do with the 13th pick overall. It's not like it's always just a nobody hockey player. And for what I'm about to bring up next, I would like to thank Eric Hornet, who did all the legwork on bringing this to me, and Mark for posting it on nyilstalk.com, and then I stole it. So for this, so anyway, let's take a look at that. So okay, so here's some recent picks at 13th overall, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised to find some pretty good people. Alex Semin, he was a beauty. Dustin Brown playing his last season this year. Could have been his last home game tonight. Last I looked before I started podcasting here, the Kings and the Oilers were tied 2-2, so maybe the Kings will win that series tonight. I'm not sure yet. Drew Stafford, he was a hell of a good hockey player for Buffalo, and Lars Eller, another good solid player. Radek Faksa, another good one. Now there was a pretty big gap in there from 2007 to 2012, so those 13s wouldn't have worked out very well. Yeah. And but then the streak continues. Josh Morrissey, an excellent defenseman, and Jacob Brana. If he can stay healthy long enough, I think this guy's going to be a real good hockey player for the Detroit Red Wings. And Nick Suzuki, he's awesome. And Spencer Knight, I think, has a very promising NHL career ahead of him. And Seth Jarvis, who's just been on fire for Carolina this year in the playoffs and in regular season. So there's some good possibilities there at 13th for us. Maybe once we get around to draft time, we'll do a podcast about who we might expect to get in the 13th spot. So I have to do a little research before I get into that podcast. So basically, that's what we have for our pick in the draft lottery. No movement for the Islanders, and we got 13th pick overall. And you can see that there's some actual pretty good people that you can get in 13 spots. So let's hope the Islanders' good drafting continues. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about the Barry Trotz situation again. I wish I had to put this in at the end of the one that I had, but I guess I was more reminded of it because I was reading on social media and watching videos and listening to interviews and stuff like that, everybody, they're acting like we got rid of Scotty Bowman. I love Barry. I love everything he did for us, all the respect that he brought to us, those 2 long runs. But in reality, 2019 was the only team that was, believe it or not, the good one, because we finished in second that season and we took out Pittsburgh, but then we lost to a not great Carolina team, but they were better than us and they swept us in 4 games. So that was actually our best regular season under Barry Trotz. Other than that, we've been basically nothing but a bubble team with Barry Trotz. We've had 2 fantastic runs. One we may have not have even deserved. The first run, when we lost to Tampa in 6 in the bubble, we may not have even made the playoffs that year. We were in a 7-game winless streak. I think we were 0-3-4. Now it kind of looked like we were going to come out of it, but there was no guarantee the Islanders were going to make the playoffs. The Rangers were barnstorming behind us, and we were free falling. So, so bubble team right there. And then last year, we finished 4th in the division. We couldn't, we were up there in first and second for a while, but we couldn't maintain it. And we fell down to the bubble spot again. And we went on another great run. And then this year, we weren't even a bubble team. I know we had a ton of things happen to us. And they always say, you know what, no excuses. Well, I call bullshit on that one. I call that there are excuses, and we had some real good ones for what happened to us this year. And who knows, we might have made the playoffs, but overall, from what I've seen, even when we got back together and everything, it still looked like the same old Islander regular season team that was fighting for a win every single game at 2-1, 3-2. We could never score for the first half of the season. So it's not like, Barry Trotz had built some powerhouse here in on the island. And Barry Trotz performs at his best when he's like that. He did it in Nashville for years. The owners never spent any money, and Barry always turned those Nashville teams into an 8th seed or a 7th seed, or that's where Barry thrives. And then his teams do fairly good in the playoffs because they're built for playoffs. But it, it, nowadays you need more than that. You've got to be good in the regular season too, or you're not even going to get into the playoffs. The competition has gotten so tough that you have to do that. So before people, I've seen people, oh, I'll never watch another Islander game or ever again as long as I live, for letting Barry Trotz go. And that, like I said, he wasn't the end all to be all. So anyway, that's all I got for you on this one. It was a short, quick one on the draft lottery tonight. We didn't lose any spots, didn't gain any spots, so we didn't get hurt. So it was a good night all around. So you guys and girls out there, you all take care and peace out.